Today was wild, and tomorrow could be even crazier. We had the fake Microsoft scare at open today. SPY then completely reversed and ripped to new recent highs. And the Santa rally is heating up as we're about to get another rate cut in exactly 1 week from now. This is the exact type of setup where the market gets volatile fast. So in today's video, we're breaking down the charts, where the action is at, and why tomorrow could be a massive day.
Just before market open today, there was a lot of fear and selling pressure coming into the stock market as the information had originally reported that Microsoft had lowered their AI sales quotas, and it hit the market hard, causing massive pullbacks across many AI stocks, which obviously spilled over into the SPY. As we can see, that sell-off in pre-market was pretty bad as the SPY came down to test 679.50 and 680 supports. Whenever I look at this move, Mike, it ended up actually causing a big reversal back to the upside as Microsoft came out and denied the BS report. Yes, and we've seen a lot of bad news in the stock market this year that ended up getting refuted by companies, and then the stocks would end up recovering back. That is exactly what we saw today, and it's helping to fuel this Santa rally.
Oh yeah, and basically what we are seeing, Tom, is something very exciting where the market is pricing in another rate cut in December, and specifically exactly a week from now on December 10th. We can see there's now a 93% chance that we see a rate cut next week. This probability has been increasing quite a bit over recent weeks, and basically we just I don't want to say guaranteed, but we really locked in a rate cut today because we had jobs data come in pretty bad. And basically what happened is payrolls at U.S. companies fell by the most since 2023. And companies with fewer than 50 employees shedded 120,000 jobs, which is the largest 1 month decline since May of 2020. So basically, we are seeing the labor market continue to weaken, and the Fed has to step in and pump this thing.
They really do. And, you would think that, hey, doesn't a weaker jobs market mean that the stocks would start to fall and that we'll see the S&P 500 start to pull back a little bit? Well, that's not really the case because as we've known in 2025, the market loves rate cuts. And whenever this data came out today, it's really what flipped the script and set the tone really for the rest of the trading day. So I'm really happy to see that the market started to reverse on this data here, and also that the market is pricing in a 93% chance of rate cuts at the next FOMC meeting. But Mike, I know that we've been looking at a lot of positive data for December, and we have even more here. We can see that looking at this data, whenever the S&P 500 returns heading into November are over 5%, and we are in year one of the presidential cycle, the market has went green 12 out of 12 times. That is a pretty significant number. That means that we're destroying the averages. So being higher 100% of the time destroys the average year, being 73.3%, and also the average year whenever we are in year one of a presidential cycle.
Beautiful. I mean, you really can't ask for much more from a historical data perspective. I know we've been looking at a lot of historical stats, and there's a lot of good signs pointing to a strong December. Most of those gains end up coming in later in the month, but, stats like these are great, and I hope this year isn't the 1 year that breaks the perfect record. But so far, so good, and yeah, there's a lot of strength in the market in general right now, and we're not that far away from all-time highs. So when we look at the market right now, Tom, I know we're back to that 684 level. What are you seeing as key levels heading into tomorrow and even the rest of the week?
So we've talked a lot over the past week or so about this key 684 resistance, and today the SPY did pull out and actually break past this level, but it got very close to the next resistance, 685, and ended up falling down. Unfortunately, the SPY has been very choppy over the past few months, so there's a lot of resistance overhead, pretty much every whole dollar level. Personally, though, past this range, I really am a fan of the 686 resistance, and because of that, if we actually go back on an hourly chart and we look at the previous peak here from November 12th, we can see that that's exactly where the high was, right around 686. So that's why I'm watching that level very closely. We've been downtrending ever since it looks like the end of October, early November. So what I'm really looking for here is, are we going to break that downtrend? Are we going to finally break 686? We broke out of the recent shorter term downtrend, but we need to really sustain this momentum above 684. This is going to be critical to hold for tomorrow. If it does not hold, hold. Watch for SPY to get back into the chop zone. This key support down here at 679.50 will be critical if we end up dropping. SPY has made 3 very significant bounces there over the past couple trading days.
Definitely. And one thing that's worth keeping in mind is SPY's all-time high is right around that $687.80 that it made back on October 29th. Right now, SPY's right around 684, so it is like 0.8% away from its all-time high. We're super close, and especially if we start breaking through some of these levels around like 687.50 or so, we are very close to seeing like an end of the year strong Santa rally with new all-time highs. So we're definitely setting up for a very exciting market, especially over these like next couple of days and next couple of weeks. So we should see some pretty good moves. And another thing that's really heating things up, Tom, is we have the Trump administration reportedly considering issuing an executive order on robotics in 2026. This had a crazy effect on stocks today. Basically, a Commerce Department spokesperson said that we are committed to robotics and advanced manufacturing because they are central to bringing critical production back to the United States. If you look at stocks like Tesla, this stock popped up by 4% today. It's getting closer to its own all-time high. But if you look at some of these other stocks too, like ticker symbol RR, this stock went beyond insane today as it popped up by 18.5%. And if you look at IRBT, another one that had a massive move of 74%. And then SERV, another robotic stock, and this one moved up by 18% as well. So this news is causing some crazy movement, and yeah, it has some like real backing behind it because, just like we saw with the Trump administration taking like actionable steps with AI and a handful of other topics, like they certainly have like real world consequences, and I think it says a lot how these stocks are moving like they are.
Yeah, that was a massive move by Tesla today. I know a lot of people have been worried about Tesla running up into resistance and potentially rejecting down, but it was a great job by them to get through that today. They did get closer to 450 today as well, so that's going to be a big level to break for the next few days with Tesla, but that was some great news. And I know that Elon has talked about his robots, Optimus, being one of the main drivers for revenue for Tesla in the future, and obviously this is a big step towards that. So for all the Tesla shareholders out there, this could be exactly what you need to get excited about Tesla once again. But there's been a lot to be excited about with Tesla in 2025. It's had quite a volatile move. I must say though, Mike, IRBT is a wild stock. If we look at it on the daily, this stock was recently trading for $1.40, and with that move today, it's up to $3.50. My gosh, this stock has been beaten down. I'm worried if shorts are going to start covering here, this thing could start to really rip more.
Yeah, the short float on it is right around 41.9% right now, so there is meaningful risk in that sense. And, just like we've seen with ticker symbol BYND, Beyond Meat, they had that short squeeze, what was it, in the middle of October, and that stock went pretty crazy. So IRBT, it doesn't have like the highest short squeeze, short float that we've ever seen, but it is moving up a lot. There's strong news behind it, and the stock has been beaten down to some pretty overextended levels. So I certainly think it's one worth keeping on the radar. And as we can see in the past, when we look at this stock, like when it has momentum, it certainly has the potential to continue for multiple days and even weeks in certain circumstances. So of course, it's high risk, high reward, but I think it's a stock at least worth keeping on watch in the short term.
Exactly, right? And it's going to be risky, like Mike said, high risk, high reward there. But whenever we talk about stocks this week with high risk, high reward, we have to talk about the earnings for tomorrow, right? KR will be reporting in pre-market, Build-A-Bear Workshop, and after hours we'll have DocuSign and ChargePoint. Not the craziest reports, but there are some pretty big stocks reporting there. And then looking at the economic data, we have some exciting data coming out over the next couple days. A lot of traders were looking at the ADP jobs data from today as part of that reason why the market moved higher. Tomorrow, we are going to have initial jobless claims report 1 hour before the market opens. These are weekly jobless claims, but again, if it does support the jobs market weakening, that could be something that helps push the Federal Reserve more towards rate cuts. And then at the end of the week, we're going to have a lot of personal income, personal spending, and PCE data, along with the consumer sentiment data from Michigan, which is preliminary for the month of December. So a lot of data over the next couple days that could impact things quite a bit.
Sounds good. Awesome. All right, well, let's jump right into the fun stuff then, which are some setups and predictions. A stock that is definitely on my radar is ticker symbol APA. There was a $2.5 million big money trade with this one for the 20 strike call options that expire on January 15th of 2027. This was called out a while ago, back in April. This big money trade is going insane. It's up like 300%, and the stock is just like really breaking out. While this option is more of a longer term one, I do think it does offer some shorter term, like momentum driven opportunities. We can see the price action has just been great, very consistent. Momentum is accelerating, and I think it's a stock worth keeping on the radar, especially considering the trader in this very profitable position is still holding and pushing their position. So APA is on my bullish radar over these like next couple of trading days to over like the next 2 trading weeks. I love this price action.
We've been seeing quite a few big money trades called out up here around resistance, and they've been starting to really break out past here. Obviously, this one was called out quite a while ago, but nonetheless, this is starting to really break out here in the short term. Love to see it continuing up, and getting past that resistance is a fantastic thing to see. With my first stock, I'm looking at SMR for a continuation off of today. Yes, they were up 6.5%. I've been watching this one over the past few trading days as they are testing one of the more critical trend lines that I've seen on one of these growth stocks in a little while. This is a very consistent trend line with many bounces on the way up. Again, these trend lines could break as time goes forward, but for right now, we are seeing this start to hold. It's making for a good risk-reward scenario in the short term. I know we talked about this one yesterday as well, but if you stop out just under recent lows, you know, the risk-reward gets very advantageous, getting up even towards 5 pretty quickly if you target around like that $32 resistance, and you could even get a lot safer than that, you know, targeting like maybe 24.50, 25, and getting well above 2. Either way, I'm going to keep watching it. We saw a lot of growth stocks recover up today, and I think we're starting to see a good turnaround off of these dips with many of these hyped up stocks this year, especially in like the nuclear sector as well.
Sounds good. It had a great reversal today, and that risk reward is pretty enticing. So I'll keep it close on watch as well. And another stock that's definitely on the radar is Tesla. How can I not with this news driving it, plus the price action that it had today? Of course, Tesla's a volatile stock, so it's always worth keeping that in mind. But they do have some good news, like we just talked about with the robotics potential executive order, pushing it higher. The other robotic stocks are accelerating quite a bit as well. So Tesla is on my bullish radar. It would be great to see them break their high of day past like 448 for tomorrow. Past this, they do have a bit of resistance around 450, so look out for that. But basically, the more pressure Tesla puts on its recent highs, the more momentum it will continue to build. And as we all know with Tesla, when this stock has good news behind it, it has that potential to move in highly asymmetric ways, which is great for like short-term trend-following strategies. Either way, Tesla's close on watch, and we will see.
Yeah, they can have some amazing continuations, and when the hype builds with this one, it can have some great explosions. I am with you there, Mike. I will be watching it very closely in the short term. There can be some fantastic scalping opportunities, if not even some swing opportunities as well. With my next stock, I'm looking at one that's a bit more boring than a lot of these stocks we've talked about today, like IRBT, for example, up 70%. But it's JP Morgan. I really like the way JP Morgan popped back today, up 1.3%. There was a lot of bank stocks having some positivity. One thing that I like is that JP Morgan had recently been coming up off of a recent low. They did have a couple days of consolidation before today's candle. And what I'm looking for is for today's candle to continue out into tomorrow and to break the high from the past few trading days closer to 314. I am watching a critical resistance overhead closer to 320 to 322 once we get past here. If we go to the Bookmap, we can see that there is a lot of resistance once we get to that 320, 322, 325 range. I am looking for that range to eventually test over the next couple trading trading days to even into next week. Either way, JP Morgan had a pretty good reversal today, and I am watching for a shorter term continuation for the next couple trading days.
Sounds good. All right, well, let's jump right into today's momentum plays then. And with the first one, we have Archer Aviation, ticker symbol ACHR, to the upside.
This was another one of the growth stocks that had an amazing turnaround today. If they can break that high of day wick at 844, watch them up.
With the next one, we have Uranium Energy Corp, ticker symbol UEC, also to the upside.
Amazing jump here as well. If they can break above $13, watch for the momentum to continue.
And then with the last one, we have PayPal, ticker symbol PYPL, to the downside.
PayPal did not share in the love today, I must say that. If they end up falling under their low of day at $60.40, then watch them to the downside. They are straddling a pretty big support.
All right, so we have these three stocks on the radar for potential continuations if and only if they break through the levels listed. You guys know the drill. Whether you're trading one of these three stocks or anything else, focus on what matters, which is making smart, long-term oriented trading decisions. Protect yourself always. Never risk more than what you're comfortable losing. Have a stop loss for every position that you enter, and know what your exit strategy will be before you enter a trade. Definitely check out the Key Lessons channel in the StockedUp Discord for a bunch of great free education. And besides that, let's jump right into today's $1.1 million big money trade. And today we are looking at ticker symbol WU. Western Union is a financial services company, and the trader here bought the 8 strike call options that expire on May 15th of 2026. Basically, this could be a wager that remittance demand stays strong in a world with high migration and inflation. Even though this company does battle some fintech competition and macro uncertainty, these call options are in the money. They have some time to them. It's a fair-sized trade. The stock is moving up in a pretty good way over like the past couple of trading days. I think it's an interesting setup. I don't think it's like the craziest, most speculative trade we've ever seen, but that's not necessarily a bad thing by any means either. Very interesting setup.
It really is. You know, this is a stock that can have some serious trends start to play out on it as well. You know, whenever I zoomed out with Western Union, the last time that it was down around these levels, it started to bounce back up in an insane way. I do want to note, though, that it seems like that the way in which Western Union moves is very choppy. Note that on both the uptrends and the downtrends, there are some serious points where there'll be major uptrends, but major pullbacks mixed in along the way. And then on the downtrends, there are serious uptrends also mixed in along the way as well. So with this stock, keep watching for it to uptrend in the shorter term. I think that it could continue up off of this shorter term movement. And I also really like how it also started to fill the gap in the short term. This stock had a major gap on the daily chart. It filled it perfectly before finally starting to pop up here. That doesn't always happen, but when it does, it generally shows that there's pretty good support down there. So I will be watching that lower support around $8 to $8.20 and just continue to watch Western Union to get back towards that recent high. I would think this one could push $9.75 to $10 fairly easily if this uptrend does continue.
Sounds good. Either way, let's keep it close on watch. And if you guys are new to the channel, welcome, and definitely consider obliterating that subscribe button. Every single day, it takes us a long time to make these videos, and we cover everything you need to know about the stock market and more, whether it be what happened today, upcoming news, important earnings, events, historical stats, big money trades, SPY levels and analysis, and so much more. If you subscribe, you'll get our videos recommended to you more often, so definitely consider doing that. And let's also give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, Hose B in the StockedUp Discord, who had another good day today. It looks like he had just around $2,400 in profits. So shout out to you and keep up the great work going forward. And if you guys are into short-term trading, the coupon code will be ending extremely soon for the StockedUp trading floor. Coupon code Black Friday gets you in at the lowest price possible for the yearly plan. You get full access to our army of trading robots, weekly live events, all the new tools that we're going to be adding over these next couple weeks and months. We have a lot of exciting things heading into 2026. You can see exactly which big money plays are moving up the strongest. For example, we can see that SLV big money trade is up by around 677%. The ILMN one is up by 449%. The FMC one is up 411%. The Intel one is up by 401%, and so on. You could also see when the trader exits, and so much more. If you're into short-term trading, it's the place to be, and coupon code Black Friday gets you in at the lowest price possible. Black Friday's over, so we're wrapping up this coupon extremely soon. If you want in, now's the time. Thank you all so much for watching, and let's crush it in the market tomorrow.